There we go. So this is group, and what is it? Group 10, less than 10 group and meeting quiz. I don't think I said that right, but you get the gist of it, right?
You're right.
So it's with Denise Dosher and Emily Sunday. So did you want to go through the whole homework?
It's up to you. I don't really have. I had one question towards the end, just because of how they rounded, or it was the rounding thing didn't match up with what the answer key said. But other than that, I felt okay. It was, I think it was 13. I had rounded it to 157, but the answer said 158. I mean, it was,
Yeah, I think they're rounded to the nearest whole number, I guess. Is that right? 150. It was 157 point something, and I do remember on the video he said specifically, because I wrote this down in my notes, that whether or not it's a number that's greater than 5 or greater, you still round it to the nearest whole number.
Okay, so if there's a number after that, like if it was 0, you wouldn't round it, but if it was 1, whatever, then you would bump it up.
Well, he didn't give that example, but I assume that would make sense to me. But okay. So here's my cat, T-Bone. He's on my homework. Oh. He's on my homework.
Go back here. Hi, kitty. Hey, kitty.
He's lying on my homework. He's on my homework.
He's like, Mom, pay attention to me.
He's lying right on my homework.
Put that stuff away.
Kitty. Poor buddy. He's been getting love all day. I don't know what to say. Yeah, I did. In the video, he did say for one of the questions that ended up to be 40, answers ended up being 45 on one of the homework questions. He said the rounds regardless. So
okay. Good to know.
I did write that down in my notes, but my cat's lying on my notes, so I can get him off. But I did have a question on number 2.
Okay.
I thought they said the margin of error. I don't know. Remember on the video he says, so if you have like 74 is your, I don't know. He says the margin of error is either give or take 4. And then on the tutorial video, he gave it a 3. So I don't know if that's just a standard. I don't remember what I wrote down for that. Do you remember that?
I didn't watch the tutorial videos. I kind of just read through the readings, and I thought it was 3 as well.
He said 4 on the one Brother Cromer who does the videos, like the 2 videos. Really? And then the guy that the video tutorial said 3. So I put minus or plus 4, but that's not actually the answer. Did you understand that question? I don't know if I understood it.
On that question, I just basically answered it.
My cat's tail. Do you see his tail?
I was looking at my homework. I'll go back. Was it coming up? Nope. Was it up on the screen?
He's lying behind my computer with his tail going. Do you see it right here? I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, I see it right there. Yeah.
You crazy cat.
Hello, kitty.
What are you doing, buddy?
But I basically just answered, like, if you have a large margin of error, am I on the right thing? What is the margin of error in a confidence interval when estimating the population mean? This question is not asking for the formula, but rather what length is represents in the confidence interval. And I think I kind of looked at the answer key with that too, and it said if you have a large margin of error, then your confidence interval will also be large. If you have a small margin of error, you will also have a small confidence interval. And then from the readings, I found that same type of answer. I could screen share it with you. So I didn't actually have like a specific, I guess, number or anything that I put with that answer, because it said that it wasn't asking for the formula. But
yeah, I just don't know. Maybe I just need to go back and look at that. But okay.
Here's I'll share this with you real quick. This is on the reading. I don't know if I can make that bigger.
Okay. I skimmed through the reading, but I did more of the videos because I feel like the videos help me out and understand a lot better than the reading. Right. I should do both, but I kind of skipped over some of that because it's repetitive. Sorry.
Sorry. I don't know if that probably didn't help much, but.
Oh, there it is. Oh. Yeah.
That's
No,
kind of, I don't know.
I must have just not got that in the homework stuff. I need to read that
I
stuff
think
more.
I might have actually in one of the part 1, part 2 videos saw a part, I made it in my notes too, where he talked about as, I'd have to, let me pull it up here. That's my chair, by the way.
I could tell. I could tell.
But where is it? I don't know if it's so. Is this talking about the level? Okay. That's different. This is, I wrote down also as you talked about the confidence and the level of confidence increases, the width. So I made notes on the width. I guess that's with the width, not the margin of error. So excuse me. But
Well, it does say in the answer, it says the margin of error is half the width of the confidence interval. I guess I need to look at it because I don't know. I understand that, but anyway.
So anyway.
So other than that, I didn't have any problems with the homework. I don't think. I did the formula number 3. I put the wrong formula. I put the n equals z times the standard deviation over the margin squared. But yeah. I don't know why I did that. But other than that, I was able to calculate everything out. Okay, and got the right answer. So
it took me a minute to, when they're asked for that or they asked for the margin of error, because there's different ones, and trying to remember, okay, wait, okay. Keeping those two straight. But
I think the problem is some of these definitions, it's like when you're trying to read a question, you're like, okay, what is that again? It just takes you longer to process because it's, I don't know. For some reason, these definitions are not sticking with me as well as some other stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm ready to take the quiz. We can work it out.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get this. I took one of my nursing quizzes today. I'm trying to get stuff knocked out a little earlier in the week because.
Good job. Yeah.
I'm tired, man. Yeah. This is your only class you're taking?
Yes.
Because you learned the hard way like me. I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, when I went to start, they were like, "Well, start out with a little bit more, and then see how it goes." And I was gonna do 3 with 2, and that was still too much for everything right now. So
we have 14 questions here. Yeah, I've got a lot going on.
Yeah, that's hard. And then it's hard because sometimes you start out and things are okay, but then things happen and you're like, okay, it's hard because you don't know how your life's going to go or what's going to happen during all of it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, sorry.
I got question 1 and 2 right again.
Good job.
Yeah.
I'm slowly getting it pulled up here. Sorry.
No, 1 or 2, the ones that they ask you if you're doing participation and all that stuff.
All the completed stuff. Oops, save that.
Excuse me.
All right. Okay. 3. Oh, 14. That's not too bad.
Well, it's better than 38. Do you want me to start or you want to start?
Either way, I could go ahead. Okay, find the margin of error for a 90% confidence interval when the standard deviation is 50 and number 25. Round to 3 decimal places. So we're finding the margin of error, and the formula for that is m equals the z.
You mean N as in Nancy or M as in Mary?
M as in Mary, mom. Yeah.
I don't remember a formula that started with M equals.
Really? I have margin of error, and it gives an estimate. Can you see my screen? I don't know.
Let me go back. Sorry, I'm on the quiz.
You're fine.
It was there. It keeps disappearing.
Let me go to where I can see it. Okay. So in my notes, there's a part that talked about how when you're finding the margin of error, it's m equals the Z or the statistic. What is it? Sorry, I got to learn all these. Critical value.
Critical value.
Critical
Yeah.
value is the Z times, and then
Oh, okay.
divided by the square root of the number, and that gives you the margin of error.
Alrighty then. Sorry, I'm usually better
You're
prepared.
fine.
But
You're
I'm still
okay.
so good. Okay.
So 90%, I made a note on in my book because I want to try and memorize these, but 90%
Yep.
is 1.645.
Yeah.
And so taking that formula, we can figure out what the margin of error is. I need my scratch paper here.
So it'd be the Z would be 1.645 times
A standard deviation of
50. 50, sorry, I was like, what?
Yep.
Over n, which would be 25, the square root of n, that would be 5. So it'd be 50 divided by 5 would be 10, right?
50, and then the square root of
25 is 5.
Yep. So
And then
10, and then
10,
10 times that. Yep. 1.645 times 10.
16.
And I should have figured that out in my head, but I still have to plug it in.
I do that because I make very simple, careless errors a lot if I leave it to my brain because I'm distracted a lot. So I try not to do that.
Yeah.
So how do we round to 3 decimal places?
I'm just going to add a 0 on because when we met with Valerio, he had said make sure just put a 0 or just add to make sure there's 3. So 16.450.
Perfect. Okay, so question 4, which of the following statements is true? God, this standard deviation squared is an internal estimator of x bar x. Mean is a point estimator of u. U is a point estimator of x. Standard deviation estimator of. I do remember this in my notes. So I just got to look real quick. I don't.
So x bar estimates the mean. S estimates the standard deviation. That's not one on there. So x bar
is the sample mean the point estimator. Is it the point estimator of mu?
That's what I was going to say. It's so funny because mine was marked. I don't know how that happened.
Your answer was marked?
Yeah, I don't know if I accidentally touched it when I was scrolling down or.
I think the only thing that makes sense to me is the x bar is a point estimator of mu.
Yep. I agree. Okay. Gina wants to construct a 95% confidence interval for GMAT score. She knows the standard deviation of 113. She collects a simple random sample of 64 and computes sample mean of 526. So what is the point estimator for the true GMAT score? So the point estimator is the same as the sample mean, so 526. Right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oops. Okay. And 6. What is the margin of error for the 95% confidence interval for the true GMAT score? So that would be m equals what we did earlier, but plugging in the different numbers. Are you there? So m equals 95% is 1.96.
Oh, there you are.
Hi.
Where'd you go?
I don't know.
I was talking like, hello?
I know, I was talking to you, and then all of a sudden I realized I was talking to myself. Like,
so the 95% would be the 1.96.
Uh-huh.
And then we have to figure out the formula, right?
So it's
the
the
minus. the plus or minus is like a,
Well, not yet.
not yet.
Um, This one is the same as the one we figured out earlier, margin of error. So this would be 1.96 times the standard deviation of 113 divided by the square root of 64.
I really just want to do that whole formula. I don't know why.
I know. Well, that formula, like as you look down further, is when they ask like the lower limit, the higher limit is
Yeah.
when you would do that one.
Yeah, I don't know why yeah, and I skimmed through the reading. It's my fault. I should have read more. So it's 113 or 6. The square root of 64 would be what? I don't know.
Is that 8?
Oh, hi,
Okay,
Tiba. Yep, is it 8? That's what I thought.
15 divided by 8 times 0.56. And it wants us to round to, I guess, 3 decimal places unless it tells us different, right?
We can't round because there's not a fourth decimal. There's not a fourth number to round the third one to, right?
So it would just be the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
27.685, is that what you
That's
got?
what I got, yeah.
So we'll just keep that.
Well, I'm glad you studied better than I did because I'm like, what?
Does that help you? Does that help make sense a little? It's just a different formula.
Yeah, I didn't study the reading enough. That was my fault. I can do this one. What is the lower limit of this confidence interval? I should be able to do that one.
So the lower limit is this when you subtract it, and the higher limit's when you add it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. So it'd be, yeah. So the formula would be the x bar minus the z, the critical value times standard deviation over the square root of n. And then if you want to get the upper and lower numbers, you do the same formula for, minus, and you do minus the x bar, or you do the plus x bar. And that would give you the lower and the lower and the higher limit.
Okay. So when you minus it, it's the lower limit. When you add it, it's the upper limit.
Yep.
Okay. I'll work on the upper while you do that lower. And we'll get them both.
Yeah, well, we already have the formula answer, right? Because it says we already did the formula for the margin of error, which would be the 1.96. So the 27.685, you just have to subtract the 526 from that, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because we already did this.
So easy. Good job. So 526 plus.
Is that what you're understanding too?
Yeah, I just always redo all of it just because I'm like scared I'm gonna mess up something.
Yeah, and I don't mean to stop you for a minute. I usually do too. I just.
Yep. So 553 and round to 3 decimal places. So for the upper one, I got 553.685. And that's question 8. Oops. Let me see here. Okay. I don't think I can. Can I?